Hey everyone and welcome. Look at these evil swine from Glasgow. Looks like a space cadet reunion, doesn't it? Well, this is a Smackhead nonce gang from Glasgow, convicted recently for life sentences. Now these animals got 3 children hooked on Class A drugs and, according to testimony, subjected them to high levels of abuse, violence and rape over a 7-year period. Now this was between 2012 and 2019. 7 years it took to get these scumbags through court to sentence. That has to be a joke, doesn't it? And we wonder why there's no justice. And that we have a multi-tiered judicial system from top to bottom. Whoops. I'm now a far-right extremist according to the leaked Home Office report and guidance. Now obviously that will mean that everybody in the country is a far-right extremist. And if everyone in the country is a far-right extremist, what does that make the government? At this point, I'm not asking should we start capital punishment again. I'm demanding it. We need a deterrent, don't we? We need justice, and we're not getting either at the moment. So let's name and shame these evil nonces, shall we? You've got Ian Owens, Elaine Lannery, Leslie Williams, Paul Brannan, Scott Forbes, Barry Watson and John Clark. All were found guilty of rape and SE on three children. There are some weird facts in this, like this, and I quote, Owens, Lannery, Williams and Brannan were also found guilty of attempting to murder a child by trapping them in various places, including, a microwave and a cupboard. Now I can understand the cupboard, but a microwave? Bit strange, isn't it? And then there's this, and I quote, charges related to causing the children to take part in seances and witchcraft were dropped by the prosecution, and all 11 of those who stood trial were acquitted of killing dogs. So what did they get, you may be wondering? I did say a life sentence, but it's not quite that. In regards to years, have a listen to this. Owens was sentenced to a minimum of 20 years behind bars, Lannery a minimum of 17, Williams 14, Brannan 15, Forbes 8, Watson 9.5 and Clark 10. It's not enough, is it? It's not enough. But there is a silver lining, everyone. The judge wasn't as lenient as it sounds. He said this. You ready? What you and the community should understand is that you may never be released. Now, the reason he's saying that, even though it's got those short years, is because of something called an OLR. Now, in Scotland, an OLR is an order for lifelong restriction. It's the equivalent of a life sentence for non-murder cases in Scotland. So hopefully, they never see the light of day again. I won't be holding my breath though, will you? Now, I personally don't see why we, as law-abiding citizens, should have to pay up to 50k per year per head to house animals. I also don't see how it costs that much without very deep pockets, but that's a different issue. Also, I will say this, 7 years it took to get these animals into court, and with all that's been happening recently with noncery, could this be happening now to distract everyone? Not the crime, obviously, they've done the crime. The sentencing, I mean, does make you wonder, doesn't it?
I think when it comes to extremism, it's very important that we are focused on the threat so we can deploy our resource properly, and therefore we're looking carefully at where the key challenges are. Obviously that's now informed with what I said last week in the aftermath of the Southport murders, where we've got the additional challenge, I think, of a sort of cohort of loners who are extreme, and they need to be factored in. So that's the focus. In the end, what this comes down to is safety and security of people across the United Kingdom, and that's my number one focus.
Absolute codswallop. Let me know what you think in the comments, everyone. If you've got to the end of the video, I thank you very much. I appreciate your support. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like, share. Stay sane in this evil, evil world, and I'll see you on the next one.